Okay. So yes, this is gonna be like the third continuum of this, and I know it's like already 2 hours, basically, of me talking on this one concept. And if you made it this far, that's really cool. I understand that you're whatnot of whatnot of whatnot. That's cool. But, you know, it just, can you really sum it up when the only way of saying it is to say it fully, to read the whole book, so you can get the whole concept? Because, like I say, it's simply complicated. It's complicated until you understand it, and it's simple when you understand it. It's like the same thing. A sentence is complicated. The word is simple. But like I was saying, or like I'm saying, is okay. So you go ahead and you play out the whole getting a lawyer, and it's like another 2 months before you actually talk to your lawyer, and then it's like another 2 months. Like if you get a free lawyer, and it's like I was like, I talked to the judge. Well, why is this like this? Oh, well, we give you an accurate amount of time, allotted amount of time to at least gather some of your thoughts. Da 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 da. And then it's like, oh, okay. But the ironic thing is, like, oh, cops don't entrap you and all that. And in all truthfulness, I'm not saying this from a judgmental, emotional attachment kind of way. I'm saying this from an observing standpoint. Because in all truthfulness, I'm just saying my life experience, to say, okay, well, this is how it can be. Now that you understand how it can be and you accepted how it can be, go and do something else. You can go ahead and do something else, That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I know I've said all that, but, if you're focusing on something, oh, da, da, da. But in all truthfulness, I am saying it from an observing standpoint of a loving, accepting, honorable, noble, graceful, easy way, But like the whole thing that got me. Okay, I did it. What I did. That's what started. I'm not blaming anybody. It's from me, because I am a creator. Being a creator, that means you take what it is and you say, okay, I can learn this from it, and then you take that lesson. Being a victim is, why is this happening to me? Oh no. But, okay, yes. When I was not legally able to drink, or from the other ones that are experts that say this is when it should be, I drank. I had like 18, I was doing the whole party thing, because like before that, like growing up and all that, I was one of those kids that didn't do anything. I was very good. I went home and I stayed home, basically. I mean, I had friends, but like I didn't do anything. I stayed home. So like I didn't experience that, and like I wanted to, basically, like without thinking of it, because I obviously did experience that regardless of that. But so I started doing all that and all that kind of stuff. And then like so the one night that I did drink and literally I was drinking and driving, which is fine, I was driving on good. When I got to my final destination, or the destination, I was lit. I was totally just, and somehow I parked the car, but then I got it where the mirror was on the other side of the pole, and if I backed out, it would have broke. And so instead of being like, oh, okay, well, maybe my friend can get it loose, I was like, well, it's gonna break anyway, so restart the car, or maybe I didn't even shut it off, and I broke it. Like, how silly that it sounds to me now, but it made perfect sense to me when I was doing it. But then I let my friend drive, because they're like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No, I've been drinking and da da da." They're like, "Oh, okay, well, let us drive." And I was like, "Yep, yep," because I knew that I wasn't, So I let my friend drive, and then we went to the store, corner store, and there was this cop there. It wasn't the same cop that pulled me over though. It was another cop, the buddy cop. Because they're a team, right? They gotta make their quota. So, but so I was like, I'm okay to drive, and I was okay to drive. I was very okay to drive. Regardless I was drinking or not, if you say, go this way, go this way, go this way, I'm the kind of person that says, or it's preferable, say, okay, you're going to turn right in 3 turns. And so I was swerving, or it appeared that I was swerving. And so then I got pulled over by the cop and all that kind of stuff. Now, maybe I'm overlooking it or reading in too much of it, and a cop was just there and seen me swerving and actually did smell my breath. But I don't know how close you are to someone or how powerful I was breathing or whatnot, but unless you actually go up to somebody's breath and smell it, do you actually know if you can smell alcohol or not? Maybe you're smelling somebody's perfume, or maybe you're smelling somebody's broken bottle that's right on the side of the road, right where we're standing, that you don't know until you actually fully go up to them. And he didn't. He was like, I just barely, it was like 5 seconds, and he was like, oh, well, I smell you've been drinking. And it's like, and a tit for a tat for information, if you don't leave your door open, they can't search it without a warrant. That's why you never invite them in or whatnot, because they're there to make a quota, and if they want to make their quota, they will, because they know how to, because they're the ones that set everything into motion and what level they want to play it at. Because you're not focused in it, you haven't gone to that deepening of that school of it, so because you understand only so much, you're so focused on other stuff. You didn't go to that school, you didn't take the time to go to that school, so you don't exactly know that unless you're educated on it and whatnot. But just like you can say them no, and you can say, am I being detained? And if they say no, you can go. You don't have to stay there and talk to them. Like one time, okay, I had lights. I was on a bike, and I was in the middle of the road. Like, seriously? You guys can go around me. I'm not gonna move. I have the right to be here. I'm as equal as you, And, go around me. I actually have gotten somebody thrown something at me because that's how I rode. Like, that's not preferable. Are you kidding me? And it was like alcohol. Like, that's not okay. But it is what it is. But I had these cops stop me, and they're like, you're okay. We're just stopping you to see what's going on. These people came out, and because I said, am I being detained? They're like, whoa, he knows what his rights truly are. And they were like, yeah, you are. And I was like, I could have been like, you know what? No, I'm not. You said that you're stopping me because you want to make sure that I'm okay, because I'm driving in the middle of the road and you could barely see that I have the lights. I have the lights, and so basically I'm not being detained, and I'm going to go about my way. Or these witnesses right here can go ahead, and I'll get their information just like I'll get your information. Can I have your badge number and your name, please? And, but I didn't do that. But it's like, seriously, it is what it is. And maybe you got this far, maybe you didn't. That's okay, because And truthfully, I'm talking to myself and just reaffirming what I know and how my understanding is, where I came from, why I understand it, and all that. But, you know, I guess, you know, I could go ahead and tell you all little intricate details of who I am and all that kind of stuff. You know, all my little life lessons of why I understand the way I understand. You know, but would you really, like, let me ask you, would you really be willing to understand, like, accept it for what it is and say, okay, okay, I understand, and let me take it as a lesson, and what can I learn from this? Or would you take it as the white and black and white regurgitational monetized boxation schooling that we're all in at this moment? Understanding and not accept it and ostracize me and label me as a black sheep. You know, because in truth, I've had a very extensive experience of living, and I'm 23, and I've basically lived through a lot. What police, how that understanding is, you know, the law side of it, the monetized side of it, the manager of being a monetized side of it. What is the whole full extent of a drug kind of a thing, you know. Even though everything's a drug, because everything's based off of being a chemical, because what is a drug? It changes the way that you are. It influences you to change the way that you are, the way you act. Doesn't food that's chemically made up change the way that you react to things? It puts you in a good mood, you know. But that's not the way that the white and black and white regurgitational boxation monetized schooling that we can all say that we're in says that that's the standard, you know. And it's like the same thing. If people were to sit down and discuss it, you know, like having a family game night, why not have a family discussion night? If you discuss things and actually understand it, or being able to understand it, you know, like in other countries, sex is talked about and discussed with a 1-year-old. They understand it. Are they getting pregnant? And how high is that rate? It's not. It's very, very low, you know. In here, that in a place that's not discussed about it, that's basically, you know, not discussed, but slapping in somebody's face, basically shaking them to say, hey, this is here. It's not preferable for you to talk about it, but we're gonna let it be known that it's here. You know, I mean, yes, it's all how you go about it. It's all about your perception. But if people were more willing to say, oh, that's not preferable, but this is. But yes, I understand that it's a whole, they're distracted. They have a house, they have kids, they have a job, they have to survive, they gotta do this. You know, I understand that. But if the whole thing of the schooling of being able to inspire or influence, to encourage, to inspire, to be motivated, to actually seeing the magic of how a kid sees it, the magic, the first moment, the first time, you know. And I understand how things are set up so that you don't. Like, if you want to take the step, you have to work towards it. It's not easy. It's not set up to where it's flowing. Like the whole thing of the ultraviolet thing, of the digital thing, which is awesome, you know, but everything should be that way. But basically, it doesn't say, well, the disc to digital thing, the ultraviolet is just the list of what everything, all of what the movies that you can have, that you have on your list, that it's just a list. And then the other things that actually where you watch them is where you gotta put the code in, you know. Like most people, would think, like, I thought you put the code in on there and that's where you watch them. Like, that would make sense. Like, I understand. I'm glad that they're able to break it down so you can actually see it like that. But it doesn't make sense. It should just flow together. Like, oh, put it in the cloud. That is absolutely hilarious. Because my idea, in all truthfulness, is maybe they were having it at the same time, or maybe not, and I gave them the idea, but because they didn't understand it, or regardless of what perception, the way that I would do it for my idea is I would give everybody a digital person. So everybody would be recorded, because everybody is already recorded. Because wouldn't it be kind of awesome, instead of telling somebody about your funny story, to show them? And if everybody had a digital person, there wouldn't be any more identity theft. There wouldn't be a Big Brother kind of a thing, because, well, it would break down to so your doctor would ask its digital person to ask your digital person to ask, that your digital person would ask you, can I get to your records? You would be fully empowered of saying yes or no. Not like it is now with the doctor, where you have to pay to get your information from them. Like, you willingly gave it to them. You paid to see them, to tell them the information. And now the only way you can get them to give you the information, and if they totally give you the information, take it away from the records, is by paying them for it. It's like, what? Like, seriously? But so this digital person would also work. Like, okay, if we're gonna keep the whole monetized system, you see a commercial one time because you've seen it before, so you don't have to see it again. If you want to see it again, you can. You go to that one place, or you can watch it right there. But if you've seen it, you don't have to ever see it again, unless you're with somebody that's never seen it. Then that's the only real time you see it again. But like the whole parental control thing, like, you have parental control. Yeah, you at your house with you, but if you have your kid go somewhere to a friend's house, you can ask that parent, can you do this for me? They can be like, no. Or they could be like, yeah, but wearing the mask and saying yes, but really saying no and not caring, That digital person would be like, you can't watch this. And so they would take every single thing off of it. Where they can't see any commercials of it. They can't see any shows of it. No, nothing on the internet, nothing. And then instead of like having it where you have to buy something again, like yeah, they have it where you don't you can take your existing DVDs that don't have a disc to digital for $2 or $5 or even more, depending on what it is, of a Blu-ray or standard or high definition, and pay for it again to put it to digital. Like, what? You already paid for it. I mean, I understand why they do that, because you don't actually own it. You're kind of like renting it. That's why if you break it, you have to go out and buy another one unless they gave you the capability of copying it. But the way that I would do it is I would let you do a record, an 8-track, a cassette, a videotape, and a DVD, and put it, and your photos, everything like that, on a digital system, so that you can access it anywhere you want. Because wouldn't it be really cool to be able to show that video or the pictures of your vacation to your friend that lives in New York, but you're in California and you're visiting them? And so you want to bring it, or even you don't want to bring it because you want to pack light, because, well, you get charged by the pound and all that for flying. It's already really very expensive. I mean, yes, a penny and more is expensive, but truly, like, it is very a good chunk of change to fly with something. Not just to fly in general, but with something, and maybe you wanted to bring them, you don't care about it, but you were so, okay, I gotta do this, this, and this, and this, that you didn't bring them, but you're there, and you're like, oh, or you're like, oh, I can show you this now, like, and like another thing of the digital person, since everybody is identified, no more identity theft, no more Big Brother kind of thing, and no more having to carry around a wallet, money, because it's all a digital person kind of thing, because like that just makes sense, because like since, and also the whole schooling thing is based off of the 1960s industrialized kind of a thing. It's about time to revamp it. Because, like, I understand that, okay, the humans, since we didn't have robots or technology really, the humans had to be that. They had to be the ones that did everything. But because now we have the robots, now we can step away from that living, because that was living back then. Because now it's surviving. Because you get forced to do it this way. Yes, I understand that it's the whole Lade collective of the bigger numbers that think it's more preferable to do it that way. But it's because they've been distracted and trained to not think or not to see another way. But because we have the robots, and because we're humans, not a robot that can replace its parts like that, even though it comes down to your belief system that you can grow back your arm, but if you don't really fully believe in it, then it's not going to happen. But considering we're not robots, and we can't just replace our parts like that, like a robot can, humans are meant to rest, go do something, rest, go do something. Like if you do something for an hour, you rest for an hour or an hour and a half, or depending, because like maybe you're from the whole concept of if we're the only ones here, and everything from the schooling books that we understand, that we learned from that, like your cells are changing over after the 7 years. That takes a lot out of your whole body. So your whole body, on top of whatever stress or whatever you're doing, or how endurance you are, or what extreme you're doing with your body, is going to take a lot. So you're going to want to rest more. You're going to want to eat more so that your body can be fully able to get to the level or the point where you're fully energized, so you can do more and you eat less. Not to say that that's preferable, but that's basically how it would break down. Because we're human and not a robot, basically. But if robots did it all, then, well, that would assist us to stop being distracted, to start living within the 5 things of food, water, transportation, shelter, and communication, which would then make everybody equal. And then that would mean, well, everybody would be really enjoying life, living, but, it is the way it is, and it's cool. I accept it. I mean, it's transitioning, because all of everything is moving forward, but, I don't know. Oh, that's what I was going to say. It would be really cool if everything was propelled by magnets, like the buildings, and we had trains. So everything's propelled by a magnet. So like a room can get bigger or a room can get smaller. That means like it would like putting it in a car sense. So you wouldn't be driving yourself. All you would do is put in your GPS, because everybody would have GPS. I get you could drive yourself, but you put it in the GPS system, which would mean that if you did drive yourself, or because a GPS, everybody can have that now, basically. If everybody had a GPS system, there wouldn't be any more road rage. It would break down to everybody would know what everybody's doing. Yeah, it's not preferable for you to do 80 on a street. But But sometimes it happens like, oh, I woke up late. This happened. If I don't make it there this time, I'm going to get fired. And then you start stressing out and da 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 da. But you have 5 minutes to get to your work that takes 10 minutes. If everybody knows to get over to let that person that's doing 80 so that they can keep on living, because they can be in the same same shoes, which that's funny. Then they can go and do what they do. And in all truthfulness, everybody had a GPS. You wouldn't have to use unpreferable resources, which an unpreferable resource is that of like the road signs. Because if everybody had GPS, then the computer would say, well, this is how fast you're supposed to go and stuff like that. So that stuff would be unpreferable resources. And so you wouldn't have the whole signs in the way. You wouldn't have traffic lights, Oh, well, what about a traffic jam? There wouldn't be traffic jams because your GPS system would say, well, everybody's going this way. So it would distribute the whole entire everybody, because it knows everybody's schedule. But what about the Big Brother thing? No, everybody has a digital person. So no more Big Brother, no more identity theft, no more carrying around unpreferable resources, like that right there, what I just said is something that can happen now without anything else being changed, like super simple, right? But going ahead and saying the whole magnet idea, so everything is propelled by magnets. What if somebody on the freeway is going 80 and this other person starts going slower, 60, and or maybe this person that's going 80 is drunk or whatever, and so their influence is a little obscured or whatnot. And so basically, without the magnets, they would crash and somebody would get hurt, With the magnets, it would say, oh, whoa, okay, so it would take the force of it, and it would have magnets propel and attract each other, so the car would move and they would switch places by, like, if there's room, they would automatically just switch places without leaving the road, or they would go on top of each other, there would be like a ball, and so the car going 80 would go over that car or go under that car because it got propelled and got attracted and resisted by the magnets. And then, if everything was magnetized, the buildings and the transportation, that would make free energy because it would make electrical movements kind of things. Not to say that we can't have free energy now, but if the collective isn't in the stabilizing and the understanding of what free energy actually is, then it can't be produced because they don't have the understanding or the belief system of what it is to actually be working as a workable, pliable thing. But not to say that it's not, but it's only by that one person that had that full belief in that it can work, that it was empowered by them. Because if you take the stance of you're a creator and you're part of everything, and so basically, and your energy, and you're a part of everything, everything's a part of you, all is one thing, That's kind of where oneness comes in. But, so that means that light that's lighting up the night is from you. You're empowering it. The same thing of why it's windy, kind of thing. But, and maybe you have, let's see, 3 hours later almost now of listen to me this far, and maybe you haven't. Maybe you jumped, and because I'm not going to put these videos together, I'm going to do whatnot to them. I'm just going to upload them. But maybe I assisted you to be influenced, to be encouraged, to be inspired, to be motivated, to actually wanting to be willing to focus on taking the next step or taking a step towards living and not surviving. Because in truthfulness, it's up to you to change it. It's not up to me. Yes, I'm saying it, and I'm doing something about it by voluntarily beautifying the community, by putting these videos out there, by being willing to accept myself and love myself, to be the ostracized black sheep. Because I know you can't see me from these videos, but I don't look the same as everybody else. The way I grow my facial hair, it's not the same. It's actually really chill and awesome. Because, well, awesome is awesome, and two things that are awesome and just awesomeness. But, and I, like I said, I do that from a loving, accepting, gracious, noble way of being, because I accept myself and I love myself fully. But I think this is a pretty good time or whatnot to say enjoy life, enjoy yourself. Because if you can't enjoy yourself, considering you're always around you, considering you're always around you, no, that's absolutely hilarious. But considering you're always around you, basically everything else is a variable. And how is it scientifically pronounced? A dependent and a variable. Everything else is a variable, and you're the dependent. But like I said, I'm gonna go. So enjoy the rest of your guys' existence. Find your own path. See that you're on your own path and be willing to understand that. And once you understand that, then you're one step closer to understanding the all of everything. Okay, well, enjoy.